Everywhere you look right now, we're just bathed in the glow of screens, right? People are rushing around, students are stressed, and professionals are feeling this deep uncertainty. I mean, the headlines are absolutely relentless. Automation, machine learning, the shifting future of work. It's overwhelming, and honestly feels like we're living in a sci-fi movie. But today, in this explainer, we're gonna flip the script. We aren't gonna obsess over the machines. Nope. We're gonna look closely at the human mind. We're setting out to discover the ultimate human advantage in this crazy era, the AI generalist.
So let's just address the elephant in the room. If you're feeling a sense of panic or kind of terrified of falling behind in this frantic, automated world, I completely get it. It is totally normal. We see these tools generating essays, writing code, and creating mind-blowing art in literally seconds, and we naturally ask ourselves, will AI replace me? But what if I told you that's actually the exact wrong question to ask? Seriously, that question comes from fear, and we need to be asking a question that comes from a place of power.
There's this brilliant thought that completely reframes things for our era. A machine may arrange the words, but you must arrange the conscience. Wow, right? So the real question, the one we're really going to dig into today, is this. What kind of person becomes more valuable because AI exists? Just asking that changes everything. Because spoiler alert, the answer lies entirely in human character, not in your ability to write code.
Part 1. The fear of falling behind, and why having a slow mind is actually your greatest asset.
Moving right into Part 2, Unmasking the AI Magic. Let's talk about structured mathematics.
Look, to get past this fear of falling behind, we absolutely have to rip the mask off artificial intelligence. Underneath all the hype, the breathless articles, and those flashy interfaces, AI is literally just structured mathematics. That's it. It's not magic, guys. It's measurement. It's pattern recognition. We can take all that super intimidating technical jargon and just translate it into plain English. When developers throw around the word feature, they just mean a clue, like looking at dark clouds to predict rain. A label? That's just the known answer the model uses to learn. Loss sounds super dramatic, right? But it's simply measuring the gap between the machine's guess and reality. And gradient is just the direction it needs to change to get better. See? Suddenly the tech isn't some black box. It's a method.
In fact, you can boil the entire AI loop down to just 4 basic steps. Input, math, decision, improvement. Boom. Data comes in, structured math transforms it, a decision is made, and if that guess is wrong, it just measures the error and improves. An algorithm is basically just a fancy recipe. By stripping away all that mystery, we ground the tech in simple reality. Math isn't this giant wall meant to keep you out. It's a ladder to help you climb.
Part 3. Thinking from first principles. This is where we find true clarity.
To get that crystal clear understanding, an AI generalist leans heavily on first principles thinking. They do not just jump straight into the shiny new software. No way. They ask deep, foundational questions first. In the sources we're exploring, characters named Arun and Neela use this exact slow builder approach. They ask things like, what is the actual human need being served here? What data enters the process? What changes on the inside? What exactly comes out? And my absolute favorite, who checks the result before real-world consequence leaves the room? If you can answer these questions, I promise you, you can demystify literally any tool on the planet.
So how does a generalist actually build their career step by step? Well, it follows this fascinating route. Notice how interconnected everything is here. You start by regulating yourself under pressure, basically calming your ego down. That regulation, it creates accuracy. Accurate decisions then build this undeniable evidence of your skill. And that proof is what ultimately buys your career freedom. The AI generalist builds their path through clarity rather than exhausting themselves chasing every single software update.
Part 4. The alchemy of making mistakes. Let's talk about emotional intelligence.
Okay, let's be real. When you're building a career alongside AI, you are going to stumble. It's inevitable. But an AI generalist handles failures so differently than most people. They absolutely do not let a mistake crush their identity. Think about it. If an AI model makes a bad prediction, it doesn't sit there feeling shame, right? It just adjusts its weights. We need to do the exact same thing. Our sources call this the mistake book approach, a simple try-fail-learn loop. Day 1, the mistake happens. Day 2, you just notice it without beating yourself up. Day 3, you extract the lesson. And day 4, you build a repair. This egoless self-correction turns failures from these identity-crushing blows into literal stepping stones. You just separate the fact of the mistake from the emotional story your ego tries to tell about it.
The golden rule to remember here is beautifully simple. A recorded mistake becomes a future guardrail. I really want to reassure you, making an error is not proof that you're broken or that you're somehow failing at the AI age. It's just data. It's literally just evidence that your process needs a tiny, testable 1% tweak. So don't dress up your failures with excuses. And please, don't attack yourself with cruelty. Just take a breath and build the guardrail.
Which brings us to part 5, guardrails and human review. It's all about setting boundaries.
As we weave these wildly powerful systems into our businesses and our daily lives, we hit this massive, non-negotiable boundary. Because an AI agent has incredible reach, but a long reach desperately needs a firm boundary. There's a profound difference between capability and permission. Capability is just what the machine is mathematically able to do. But permission? That is what the human allows the machine to do. It's this core concept of permission before power. Just because an AI can draft an email, make a choice, and execute a decision doesn't mean it actually should. A tool must never, ever act without human oversight when real-world consequences are on the line.
To put this into practice, the AI generalist uses something called a tool card. Rather than just blindly trusting a system, you map the whole thing out. You name the tool, you define its exact purpose, and you track the input, the action, and the output. But here's the critical part. You name the risk, and you establish a review gate. That review gate is the exact moment the human steps back into the loop. By using a checklist like this, your human judgment stays deeply woven through the work. Dignity, ethics, responsibility, those are things you never, ever outsource to an algorithm.
Part 6. The uniquely human advantage, moving beyond the machine.
So think about it. If the machine is doing all the heavy lifting, the calculations, the massive pattern recognition, what is left that is exclusively powerfully human? Well, machines give us breathtaking speed, scaled output, and pattern matching. They are an amazing engine. But humans? We provide conscience, context, care, taste, and responsibility. We are the steering wheel. Speed might light up the road ahead, but only human judgment decides when and where to turn. Ultimately, only humans can provide the deep, ethical care required to make all this technology actually safe and valuable.
And all of this builds perfectly into the central staircase of the AI generalist. This right here is your roadmap. It all starts with curiosity, which naturally leads to clarity. From there, you build your concepts, which eventually transform into your capabilities. Once you have those capabilities, you can make a real contribution. But notice where it all culminates. Character. Character and human connection are without a doubt your ultimate career advantages. You do not need to be a coding prodigy. You just need to become an expert in context, care, and connecting with others.
So we've seen that AI is totally understandable, and I hope you realize that you are absolutely not too late to become incredibly valuable in this space. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to the choices you make when you sit down in front of that screen. So I want to leave you with one final provocative thought. If machine power must continually learn to return to human wisdom, what boundary will you draw today? Remember, the tool might be able to reach incredibly far, but it is your human care that has to draw the line. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I will see you next time.